Oh, it means everything because, honestly, and it's not to dismiss the two football programs, but they have such great tradition in basketball, both of these schools. This is the big sport in the state of New Mexico. And the Lobos are in the white, and they control the tap.
Excuse me, Drew, look at this crowd. You can go near and far and not see a college basketball crowd like this.
No, and they've been drawing more than 15,000 at the pit for 49 straight years, every night.
As we said, it's a big deal here in New Mexico.
Vance Jackson didn't have a shot. 5 on the shot clock. Little pull-up jumper from Caldwell, no go. And it is ripped down by Bobbitt the other way. New Mexico State, right off the bat, Coach, New Mexico State will shoot a lot of threes. They haven't been shooting them well. New Mexico really wants to get it inside.
Well, they're not a big team. You're exactly right. It's kind of the inside versus outside attack for these two teams.
That 3-ball no good. Trevelyan Queen gets his hand on it and controls the tap. And that is rejected by Carlton Bragg, who leads New Mexico in block shots.
And Drew, even though the Aggies aren't near as big across that front line as the Lobos are, they out-rebounded the Lobos when the Lobos beat them 78-77 about 2 weeks ago and gave up 15 offensive rebounds. So the Aggies may not be big, but they know where to go get it off the glass.
Queen for 3, a little bit short, and a strong rebound pulled down by Jaquan Lyle, the 6'5" senior. And a foul against New Mexico State, no basket.
And you talk about a good inside-outside attack. You just saw that Jaquan Lyle, the outstanding guard transfer from Ohio State, hitting a streaking Carlton Bragg, who now is averaging a double-double for the season.
Malawatch for 3, no go. Vance Jackson, a long rebound. Here's the UConn transfer, and his floater's way off. Brad trying to clean it up. He's fouled. He's a handful.
He is a handful, Drew. In terms of Mountain West Conference post guys, he may be the biggest and most physical post player in the league. When you say he's a handful, when you're matched up against him one-on-one, it's going to be a long day.
Well, an issue right out of the gate for Chris Jans. That's the second foul on his point guard, Sean Buchanan. He's going to have to come out, and a guy who's been hobbled, who was a preseason all-WAC player, who was an all-WAC player a year ago, Terrell Brown, comes in. He has not been the Terrell Brown, though, so far of a year ago, and I think a lot of it has to do with the lingering groin injury.
No question. He averaged almost 12 points last year. This year, just under 5, and he didn't even play in their last game because of that groin.
Lob and a foul on Malwatch on the dunk attempt by Ivan Aure Coachea.
Nice pass by the Lobos and a pretty nice defensive effort, or nice pass by the Aggies, I mean. Pretty nice defensive effort by Malawatch, who did exactly what you're supposed to in that situation. Go up, put your body on the offensive player. He just put a little bit too much body on the big Spaniard.
Well, Aure Coachea is shooting 56%, Coach, from the floor, 53% from the line. Good from the floor, not so good from the line.
Well, he doesn't take a lot of shots outside of about 5 or 6 feet. He's mostly a low block guy. He and Corey Manigault were teammates at Indian Hills Community College a couple years ago.
That's a bad shot for most people. Yeah. Not necessarily so for Lyle. Hand in his face, fading from 24. Got it.
And we've seen that shot over the years by a lot of different guys, but Lyles has it down. That is his go-to shot from the perimeter. That left step back going to his left, and at 6'5", he doesn't have to create a whole lot of room, Drew, to get that off.
He is truly a big guard, not just in height, physically. And that 3-ball doesn't go for Brown. That has been a problem. He's 9 now for 53. They clean it up on the baseline drive from Queen for a bucket.
And the second offensive rebound for the Aggies in less than 3 minutes.
Well, they went 30-5 last year, Coach, and you know this. Coach Jans preaches toughness and he preaches rebounding, and that's one of the reasons they went 30-5 a year ago, 28 wins 2 years ago.
Well, they almost beat Auburn in the first round of the NCAA. Remember, Auburn played for the national championship. last April, and New Mexico State was one shot away from upsetting them in that terrific 12-5 matchup in the first round.
Lobos. You played a little more than 3 minutes.
Jabari Rice, the second leading scorer, number 10, has yet to attempt a field goal.
Ooh, I like that. He cleared a little space. Maybe got away with a push-off. Aure Coachea with the hoop. And it's the first lead for New Mexico State.
New Mexico State has been all man-to-man at half court. The Lobos have extended their defense a little bit into a zone press, but then fallen back into man-to-man.
Out of bounds off of New Mexico. Jaquan Lyle wasn't pleased with the call. All weird looking on.
If there's one kink in Lyle's armor, Drew, and he's off to a great start. And remember, he has set out 2 years, but he's averaging almost 4 turnovers a game. He has been somewhat turnover prone. Now, a lot of that has to do with him, as I said, setting out 2 full years, a redshirt year, and then he got hurt in like the second day of practice last year, so there's still a little bit of rust element, I think, in his game.
Johnny McCants is in there, and another offensive rebound, and the putback from Queen. Everybody goes to the glass for New Mexico State.
And you know, that makes them a little bit liable at the other end defensively in transition defense, but I tell you what, they now are kind of getting their bread butter going to the offensive glass. That's 3 offensive rebounds.
That shot by Bragg, his jump hook was affected. McCants brings it up, and out of bounds. That'll be a turnover. You don't necessarily want one of your bigs bringing it up the floor.
No.
That's turned into an Apple turnover. 15:41 to go first half. 7. With Joe Cravens, I'm Drew Goodman. Jenny Kavnar with us as well. I've been coming here for more than 30 years. This is maybe my favorite college basketball venue in the nation. It is always loud. It is always packed. I said it, and it was only half in jest earlier. If me, you, and Jenny, and we grab 2 other people and suited up in an opposite color uniform, they're going to have 15,000 people here to watch the Lobos play.
I'm not playing with you and Jenny. You both shoot too much.
Well,
I'll be
you know
the
what?
point guard.
Listen, I always look around. I look at my teammates, and if I think I'm the best option, I'm going to let it fly.
Drew, I've been coming here a whole bunch as an announcer and never lost, but I never won here, and I came here 4 or 5 times as a coach.
They're going to let him play, I guess. Bodies hit the deck. Bragg flushing the basketball. 1-point game.
And I talked about in the open how good Lyle was in the paint. 6'5", 205. He's a big, strong kid in there, and that was a terrific little shovel pass to his partner, Carlton Bragg. The very first play of the game, I talked about what a great inside-out attack they are, Lyle and Bragg. Both of them chance to be all-league, maybe first-team all-league players.
Queen gives it up, and McCants misses the left-handed layup. And there's Bragg going down the defensive rebound. Here's Lyle. That pass broken up, and another turnover. That's 3 turnovers now on New Mexico, and you mentioned a moment ago, it's been an issue.
Sure it has. Carlton Bragg, 4 rebounds already. He's coming off a 15-15 game, 15 points, 15 rebounds at Wyoming. He has really been asserting himself on the glass here early.
Oh, nice move by. That was interesting. The Cats made what should have been an easy layup more difficult. That's all right. Kick it outside, get a triple from Terrell Brown. Boy, if they can get him going tonight, that would be something.
Well, as you mentioned, preseason all-WAC selection before the season ever started, and a kid who has a great motor and plays with great heart, but boy, he's had trouble making the ball go in the hole so far this year.
And he knows the Mountain West well, because he started his career at San Jose State. Bragg gets doubled, and Caldwell, as he's falling down, throws it out of bounds.
You see Caldwell turn it over many times. He's a pass first, look to score second type point guard. He's been a great addition along with Lyle at that guard line for the Lobos. He's leading the Mountain West Conference in both assists and steals. Drew, he doesn't need to look to score much. Now, the Lobos showing a little 2-3 zone now.
They're long, and they're long at the guard spots, which is helpful when you play this, isn't it, Joe?
No question. The top of that zone. A lot of times they'll play Malawatch out at the top of that zone, and they get really long.
New Mexico State gets it inside.
Really nice
Easy
patience
for William McNair.
Nice patience by the Aggies. They're attacking that zone, getting the ball in the paint to an easy layup.
This has postseason intensity right out of the gate, doesn't it?
Watch this ball movement. Watch this nice move getting in the crease here by McNair, and a really, really nice pass. Really good zone offense.
He picked up the foul at the other end, and he's going to go out. 6'10", redshirt freshman from Philadelphia.
Preston Queen not only leads them in scoring and rebounding, he's second on their team in assists, so he's a guy that gets a lot done. And there's that great post-up game that I talked about, Lyle. He may be the biggest guard in the Mountain West Conference.
Here's Brown.
Paul Weir coming right back to that 2-3 zone.
And another long rebound. Long shots produce what? Long rebound. That was a little NBA defense. I like it from Carlton Bragg. Got into him and then released it. Oh, upstairs, Corey Manigault. That'll get them out of their chairs.
And Drew, remember just a few minutes ago, we talked about New Mexico State's commitment to offensive rebounding. The liability of that is just what we saw, giving up runouts at the other end.
Block, but a foul. Free throws coming for Ivan Aure-Coechea.
Now, usually you have a guard all the way back in what we call, coaches call hoop defense in transition. That time, nobody home. Again, because of the commitment they make to offensive rebounds, but really nice job in New Mexico running the court.
Manigault did pick up the foul at the other end. New Mexico has won 4 straight. They're on the cusp of the nation's top 25. They're at 9-2. What is interesting, New Mexico State won 30 games a year ago. You mentioned the near miss in the NCAA tournament against Auburn, who played for a national championship. And they felt, and Chris Jansen doesn't shy away from this. He told us this afternoon, he said, I believed, and the season's still young, that we were going to be even better this year.
Well, they returned 9 guys, Drew, that played 10 or averaged 10 or more minutes last year. They've just been hit early on with the injury bug. Once they get into league play, get everyone healthy, and they've played an awfully good schedule, a challenging schedule. And they're picked to win the Western Athletic Conference for a reason.
Yeah, they're unanimous selection to win the conference.
Does that mean everyone voted for them?
That does. That's exactly what that means. I tell you what, that Southern Indiana education of yours is coming out.
I wouldn't make sure if you were slipping something by me.
I'll let you know. I'll wink at you.
Lobos, speaking of commitment, committed to this 2-3 zone.
Good ball movement. They get a pretty good look for 3. Another long rebound. Here's Jabari. And that goes out of bounds. Jabari Rice made that one extra pass. 11:42 to go first half. 13.
It's the Aggies leading the Lobos 13-10. There's a sight that Aggies fans don't want to see, and that's A.J. Harris in a sweatshirt. He has not played all season. He had a hand injury that required surgery, but last year in this rivalry game, he dropped 31 points here at the pit. He put on an absolute show from beyond three-point range. He made 6 threes on the way to that 31 points in 4 games against the Lobos. He averages 13 points. He loves this rivalry. And I talked to him about it today, and he said it's going to be so hard to not be on the floor. You're talking about what these guys have been missing. 3 injuries that happened within 24 hours. 2 hands and a leg injury, all required surgery. Then, of course, Terrell Brown, who we've seen in this game, missed the game earlier this week at the University of Denver. So you're starting to talk about these injuries, but the good news is they are coming around. A.J. Harris told me today he's expected to be back in about 2 weeks. That could be earlier than WAC conference play, which is the good news. But he said today in this game, I passed the message on to Javelin Queen and said, you are the vocal leader. It gets loud in here. You have to make sure your teammates are all on the same page and provide the energy. So far, they're doing that.
Absolutely, and there's a little pull-up jumper off the dribble from the lefty Corey Manigault. It's a 1-point game. Harris, good player. They need him back.
He put on a show here last year, Drew. The Lobos elected to switch every ball screen. He would come off the ball screen and have only 6'9", 6'10" guys guarding him. That's a little bit like throwing Briar Rabbit in the briar patch because he just lit them up. 6 for 6 from 3 on his way to 31 points. Man, he put on a show. The Aggies built a big lead here last year, and the Lobos just about came back and caught them and only ended up getting beat by 4.
Offensive foul before the ball was inbounded. That'll get the briar patch. What did you say?
You know, that old rabbit in the briar patch.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah,
Burr rabbit in the briar patch.
Fouls on McCants.
I think that was on a screening call on an end out of bounds.
Push three-pointer, no good for Keith McGee.
McGee was a 44% three-point shooter last year. His time has been cut.
Here's a steal. Here's Lyle. 1-on-2, and he gets it rejected. And Lyle trying to steal it back. Just watch him play.
Wow.
I mean,
just let him play.
You know how important this is to both schools.
And they are just playing up a storm. Here's a turnover, and here's Lyle on what I thought was a pretty good move. And I still can't figure out who kind of came from behind there and made that
I think it was Jabari Rice.
I think you're right. I think Jabari Rice did make a great play there.
Jabari Rice on a penetration, and the three won't go. Rebound pulled away by McGee, the junior from Rochester, New York.
New Mexico State without a three-point basket so far.
Nice strong drive by McGee. He's giving New Mexico a little bit of life. They go back up by 1.
Well, New Mexico not only has a pretty potent starting 5, they have a real nice potent rotation of 8 coming off that bench with Zane Martin, McGee, and Manigault.
Well done at the other end. Somehow Zane Martin got control of the basketball. It's a 10-1 run for the Lobos.
That transition defense we talked about earlier kind of rearing its head now. All 5 Aggies crashing the glass and giving up easy baskets at the other end. You're either all in or you're not in.
That'll quiet the crowd a little bit. Ivan Ure Coachea with his second bucket. He's got a half dozen. Leading New Mexico State right now in points.
And he and Manigault, as I said, played on the same team at Indian Hills, now guarding one another and kind of having a grin with one another after the big fella scored that one. They had an interesting team at Indian Hills Community College, Drew. They were 35-0. They went undefeated in the regular season with great talent, went to Hutchinson and got beat in the very first game of the national tournament.
I was starting to say, that's not interesting. It's boring. They win every night.
Yeah. Well, they didn't win that night. That had to be a sad locker room. I mean, they were the odds-on favorites to win the national junior college championship. And like I said, got beat.
Oh! Look out! Trevelyan Queen.
He just kind of glides to the basket, doesn't he? Long steps, he gets those hips down. Boy, he's really efficient when he puts the ball on the floor.
3-ball splash, says Keith McGee. His 7th triple of the year. He had not been shooting a high percentage coming in. You mentioned 44% a year ago.
Talking about junior college career, Keith McGee was the most valuable player of the junior college tournament that I talked about. Indian Hills got him beat.
That turnover caused by J.J. Caldwell. Brad sets the ball screen, and Mangold misses on, Martin misses on the pull-up.
When Caldwell goes out, they kind of play the point by committee with Zane Martin and Keith McGee, who neither one pure point guards, but like I say, they kind of share the ball between them, and usually pretty effective.
Bobbitt got hit. He'll get a couple free throws, but first timeout. 7:32 to go before halftime. It's been physical. It has been intense. It has been what we expected. Lobos by 2. There's Chris Jans in the middle getting out of his chair. Third year at New Mexico State. Until 3 weeks ago, he had never lost to New Mexico. They had won 5 straight ball games. To give you an idea of the intensity and the closeness of this rivalry, you have to go back. That was the longest run for New Mexico State against New Mexico since they won 9 in a row here in Albuquerque between 1936 and 1940.
Wow, that is amazing. Well, if the Lobos win here today, it'll be the first sweep for the Lobos since 2015. So as you say, this is a heated and a back and forth rivalry.
And there's only 3 hours separating Las Cruces and Albuquerque and I-25. And I love that they play each other twice. I mean, in this day and age of worrying about scheduling, they don't have to worry about 4 games at New Mexico State. They're going to play the Lobos twice, and they're going to play their neighbors across the Texas border, the UTEP Miners, twice every year.
Well, all 3 of those are great rivals. Remember, there was a time when Texas, El Paso, and New Mexico were in the WAC together. And not only was that a great rivalry, but they were conference foes.
Well, that foul is on it's on Ivan Aure Coachea. You know what? Caught Bragg at the line. I remember those. Well, it's the first time I messed it up for that.
No, you did pretty good.
Back in the day, that was the 2-step. You know, you always play 2 road games. And you play UTEP on Thursday night, you have Friday off, and then you play New Mexico or vice versa.
Sure.
I remember those days very well.
I was the interim head coach at Utah and then the assistant for 3 more years under Majerus, and that was a tough trip. Of course, they had to come down and play Utah and then BYU. I mean, the WAC, which is still a very good league, but at that time, that was a great basketball. Again, still a very good league.
You were part of that terrific coaching staff at Utah, and you all won a lot of games. Went to the NCAA finals. Utah teams are fun to watch, but you're right. It's always been a coaches league. Both the Mountain West WAC always been really good coaches leagues.
No, it really has, and good fan leagues too. You go into those venues, and you're usually going to get a very, very good crowd, as you see today.
2 on the shot clock, no problem. Johnny McCann strains the 3. McCants may be their best overall athlete.
Well, he looks like their best athlete. He is long and cut high. He is a really, really good looking basketball.
And he comes up with a loose basketball.
His
Tied
three,
21.
His 3 made him 2 for 9 for the game so far. They're coming off games where they were 7 of 33 the last game. And before that, as I said, they were only 1 of 8. Oh, they're heating up now.
Yeah, McCann says, listen, feed me the rock, I can hit the 3. He's now 9 of 23 this year from downtown. The 6'7", 235-pound junior who is from Las Cruces.
Yeah, you don't see that very often, local kids on their team. McCants has played in all 11 games, a very valuable player off the bench, averaging almost 22 points. And as you said, Drew, you look at him and you know he's a basketball player, a junior. He's one of those 8 or 9 guys that came back who were averaging 10 or more minutes.
Chris Jans refers to him as a starter. Here's Vance Jackson. I would have liked him to shoot it, wouldn't you, Coach?
I tell you, Vance Jackson has really struggled so far this year. Kid that averaged 13 points last year, and he is really having trouble at the offensive end.
That's a foolish foul on Ray Coachea. That's his second. That one's easy to call.
Here's a big fella, Johnny McCants, all 6'7", 235 of him. I guess they're maybe letting the wrong guy shoot him because McCants has made it look pretty easy. He's thrown two of them up there, hell, he's followed through. And like you said, Drew, he's begging for more now. And he's got his team in the lead here.
Lyle, beautiful move. Little hesitation dribble, and Jaquan Lyle with 7.
Jaquan Lyle, as we said in the opening, can shoot from deep, and he's really good getting to the basket. And there'll be times where he'll take a smaller guard and post him up there. This was just, like you said, Drew, a little hesitation play going to his offhand and a really nice finish. He led Ohio State in assists as a sophomore, and over 2 years at Ohio State averaged over 11 points. So, I mean, he's a proven commodity coming in here.
No, he was a terrific player in the Big Ten.
Sure
You know, sometimes you look at the transfer and you say, oh, maybe he wasn't getting minutes where he was. No, Jaquan Lyle was legit at Ohio State.
And then, well, like we say, tragedy kind of struck last year. He had to sit out a year, and just early in one of the very early practices, had an Achilles tendon problem and kept him out all year last year.
Here's New Mexico heading up the floor inside 5 minutes to play. Lyle drives again, and he had it rejected. You know a guy they could use, I mean, just about any team in America could use him, Anthony Mathis. And I was watching him today, grad transfer starting for Oregon. He had a shot at the buzzer, and it looked like he won the game at the buzzer. Oregon ended up going overtime and beat Michigan in overtime today. But Anthony Mathis, if you remember, he played 3 years here at New Mexico, and had an opportunity after graduating to go back home. And that's why he did.
He could really stretch the defense. He could really shoot it. And Lyle, again, as I said, a little turnover prone that time, taking on that double team and stepped on the sideline. New Mexico's coming off a win at Wyoming, but they had 19 turnovers in that win. They had kind of righted the ship a little bit. They only had 9 against Montana a couple of weeks ago. In their first league game, only 6 against Boise State. I think maybe Lyle got a technical.
They called the T on Lyle, they did.
Now, he, besides turning it over a little bit too much, he tries to referee a little bit too much at times as well. That usually doesn't work out. I tried that quite a bit as a coach, and that never did work out very well for me.
Well, we have, not surprisingly, we have a veteran crew and a really good crew for this one. Tony Padilla, Larry Spalding, Bob Stafford. So you know what? It's going to be very well called. And these players know that this trio is really good. Well, and that's important.
With this veteran trio, there's not a lot of hoo-ha going on. You know, you're not going to get to debate the call or question it, and they'll take care of their own business. Like I say, Lyle, that's the second time I've seen in our broadcast that he's fell victim to, again, to trying to referee a little bit too much.
So 2-point lead for New Mexico State. They had the basketball. Here's Brown.
Rice, their second leading scorer, almost isn't looking to shoot as I say that. And he squares up that three-pointer there.
That's his first bucket. He's averaging 13 a game.
And he's kind of been their super sub. He didn't start all year until the last game when Terrell Brown wasn't able to. But again, the second leading scorer and doing all of it off the bench.
Now watch, hard drive. That's a block. So McQuatch, Malawatch will have free throws when we come back. 5-point lead for the Aggies.
28-23, under 4 in the first half here as the Aggies lead the Lobos. Jaquan Lyle had to sit on the sidelines for this one last year with an injury. He was so excited to play in the rivalry. He'd up 24 points in Las Cruces, trying to make an effort here tonight too. But his life is more about basketball. In fact, the most influential person in his life, his grandma, gave him a lifelong passion off the hardwood.
My grandmother used to make me wake up every Saturday and Sunday morning and help her with her garden bright and early. So like that's like kind of like my only hobby. And yeah, so like whenever I get a house, like I want to have like a huge garden.
I love that. We're going to hear more from him coming up on our College Hoops halftime report, but I had to get that in for Coach Cravens, our green thumb on our AT&T Sportsnet crew. So there you go, Coach.
Well,
you have something in common.
I'm going to have to talk to Jaquan, trade some tomato planting strategies here for spring.
I did ask him if he and his roommate Carlton Bragg have a little garden at their apartment here in Albuquerque, and he kind of gave me one of those side eyes like, I don't know how to grow things in this climate yet.
Well, he's from Evansville, Indiana, and that humidity, about all you got to do is drop seeds in the ground and they'll grow.
Oh, you all speak the same language.
We do kind of, don't we?
Yes, you do. 28-25. Aggies by 3.
I tell you, the Lobos have done a nice job of mixing their defense. And
Jabari Rice heard you.
Yeah, he doesn't care what defense. He's hit back-to-back threes in about the last 90 seconds. I had said it was amazing to me. He just didn't even look like he was looking for his shot. No more did I get that out of my mouth. He hit the first one and then backed it up with that second. Here's a kid I'd like to see more aggressive.
Malawatch.
I think he's kind of, he's a great support player here, but I'd like to see him at times kind of force the issue a little bit.
Oh, the extra pass, and McCants missed the layup.
Wow.
He's been better from 25 feet than he has from 2 feet.
That's the closest shot he's had.
Good catch by Bragg. He'll get free throws.
And that's the third time tonight Jaquan Lyle's had his head up. And Carlton Bragg is, some coaches call that rim running right down the middle of the court. And Jaquan Lyle has put it right on the money. Jaquan Lyle, not only a great scorer, he's second leading assist guy on this team.
Queen got the foul. Boy, you look at Carlton Bragg, and he just body-wise looks like a different guy from the guy who arrived. Remember, he was at Kansas, briefly at Arizona State. He's lost 40 pounds since he first arrived in Albuquerque.
Well,
this kid was a McDonald's All-American, one of the top 20 recruits in the country when he went to KU.
Well, as guys get into college, they start learning how you eat. They get with nutritionists. They get in the weight room. And, I mean, he's a legit post player now at 6'9". I think they list him at 220. But I think if he's not the most physical post player in the Mountain West Conference, he's among them.
Manigault, his pass to Caldwell didn't connect. So you had a forward running with the guard, and the forward had the basketball.
The wrong guy had the ball there, and that's never a good combination when a post guy is dribbling full speed down the court trying to make a play.
I thought with Manigault's ups, I thought he was just going to try to rise, go right over Jabari Rice if he wasn't there.
Manigault has gotten off to a great start in conference play, shooting 71%. 10 for 14. As I talked about, the Lobos have really done a nice job of developing their bench, which I think is really important in the long basketball season.
Rice, nice. 8 points the last couple of minutes for Jabari Rice, and now it's a 7-point lead for the Aggies, their largest lead here in the first half. 2 minutes to go.
Well, I want to tip my hat to Chris Jans. They are doing a great job in their zone offense, and usually that's the last thing to fall in place for a team as the season progresses. They've shown great patience and great aptitude against that 2-3 zone.
Nice reverse pivot, fade away from McQuatch Malawatch. Much needed basket for New Mexico. Rice. Boy, that looked down the whole way.
It sure did. That was
pitching strong.
Yeah, that was straight as a quarter's worth of rope. It was just long.
3-ball from Lyle. Here come the Lobos. They're within 2. 10 points for Lyle.
A little bit of a defensive mistake, I believe, by Rice going under this ball screen, I believe, is what happened. Here's that high ball screen, Rice going under it, and Jaquan Lyles, not only a talented player, he's a very astute player. He recognized that immediately and just rolls up and knocked that one down. He is a 40% three-point shooter.
Usually, right, Coach, you get that reminder in the morning and shoot around. What guys go under a screen, what guys you have to fight over the screen and head shots.
No question. I always like to tell the story, Drew. One time I had a new junior college player, and on the scouting report I put up there before we went out. Now this kid can really shoot. You know, you want to go over the ball screens. Well, of course, he went under about 3 of them. The kid had about 3 or 4 threes at halftime. My kid comes in, I walk in the dressing room, he said, Coach, that kid can really shoot. I said, well, did you think I was kidding, or did you think I was just, you know, pulling your leg on that? Amongst other things, I said that, but yeah, that kid can really shoot.
Hey, Coach, your scouting report was spot on.
Yeah, Coach,
he's
congratulations.
Really
yeah.
What'd you say about under or over? Shot clock down to 6. And that's a walk. Brown, a little indecisive, and Terrell turned it over.
Terrell Brown, to me, much like Vance Jackson for the Lobos, just has not found the rhythm. Of course, Terrell Brown, because of an injury, or that's a part of it, but those are two guys that had great offensive years last year. Vance Jackson, 13 points, 7 rebounds, and he's really not approached those numbers yet this year.
Lyle, and he has the basketball taken away. Here's Jabari Rice out of the pack. Now it's a 4-on-2, and Rice is fouled from behind. And you know what? That's a good foul.
Yes, because that was probably going to be at least a 2, maybe a 3, and I appreciate J.J. Caldwell's effort there trying to come from behind and knock that ball away. And he definitely got him with his body. Again, he's doing a little referee himself, but there was contact there.
That was a good foul, because they were going to get either, talking about New Mexico State, you're going to get a great look either for 3 or probably something at the rim. Queen, and he could get his own rebound this time. Malawatch with it.
Pretty good defense by Malawatch. Kind of long arm of the law went up with that shot.
And he's been checking him lately. And Queen, after getting some buckets early, has been pretty quiet.
Now watch Rice try to deny Lyle the ball here and keep it out of his hands so he doesn't get the last shot. He didn't try hard enough. Now, good job double team.
Caldwell. And that's rejected, and that will end a very entertaining, very competitive, very intense first half. We told you it'd be close. How about 2 points at the break? 33-31, the road team. New Mexico State, 3 hours up the road from Las Cruces, leading at the Pit in Albuquerque. Wow, that was intense. Time they threw it up in the air. Mexico State, about with 2 minutes to go, had a 7-point lead. And the Lobos with a little bit of an answer late as we go to Jenny Kavnar. Jenny.
Yeah, Coach Jans, as expected, back and forth in this one. Where did you find your team had the best advantage?
You know, I thought we were really good on the offensive glass. They were as well, but I thought that stuck out to me. And then unfortunately, we just had a hard time finishing the half. We were up 5 a couple times, and we couldn't extend the lead.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck in the second half.
33-31, New Mexico State by 2 as we check in with Jenny Kavnar, who was able a few moments ago to catch up with Paul Weir, the head coach of New Mexico. What'd you learn?
Yeah, Drew, as expected, he was very even-keeled coming out of halftime. He said, I just really feel like right now we need to stay the course. I thought New Mexico State shot the ball well. We have to stay to our game, and that's get the ball inside more. But he talked about how this team has been there. They've been there this year. They've been down at the half. They've been able to just play their game in the second half and end up with wins. So they're going to try and let experience take over on their home court here for the final 20.
Well, one thing in talking about keeping the course, as Jenny reports, Joe, Carlton Bragg averages 13 points, 10 rebounds a game. He took 2 shots in the first half, 1 out of 2. They got to get it into the big fella, don't they?
Well, and he's got those running the court, doing something hard to get something easy. There's no doubt their strength is in the paint, and they need to do a little bit better job getting that ball inside. And that doesn't mean they have to score inside, but they need to collapse New Mexico State's defense by getting it into the paint.
New Mexico State with the basketball as we begin the second half. Naturally a sellout here at the pit, and they're all standing. 5 on the shot clock. Here's Queen. Step away, rainbow 3. And the rebound on the weak side to the point guard, J.J. Caldwell.
Well, that wasn't a great shot, but that's the only shot they could get. The Lobos came out with a great first possession, man-to-man defense.
Sean Buchanan steals it, and Rice misses it. Goes off bobbing out of bounds to New Mexico.
I'm not too sure Rice didn't make that a lot harder shot than what it needed to be. I think if he could have just laid it up with his right hand. Of course, I don't know if that was Vance Jackson or Carlton Bragg closing in on him, and I kind of understand the deal, but I think if he'd just kind of not had that little extra slice of mustard on it, that'd been 2 points.
Here's Jackson isolated, and the former UConn player had it knocked out of bounds, but it went off of him. That's a dozen turnovers now on the Lobos. Chris Jans improves with the defense.
Of course, the Aggies starting point guard back on the court now, Sean Buchanan, who leads them in assists, as most point guards really only played 4 minutes that first half, getting 2 fouls very quickly.
I was a little surprised by that. Queen's a shooter. He turned down a pretty open 3.
Yeah, I was a little surprised at that too. Maybe they just wanted to be a little more patient this half.
They're going to have to get going here because there's 8 on the shot clock. Out of bounds, so kind of sloppy both ways to begin the second half. It was 33-31 at intermission. It's still 33-31.
Remember, New Mexico with 10 turnovers the first half, and New Mexico State with 9. So as you say, kind of got a little loose with the basketball, so to speak, in that first 20 minutes.
Here's a pull-up, and that was a line drive 3 that would go for Lyle. Queen down the lane, and the layup rolled out. Bragg with the board.
The Aggies have had 2 right at the rim between Rice and Queen.
Caldwell, who seldom shoots, says I could post that guy up because Sean Buchanan's listed at 6 foot. Caldwell at 6'1".
Both these Lobo guards grew after setting out. Lyle 2 years and Caldwell 1 are getting better virtually every game.
Queen, no go. Bragg above everybody for another rebound. 33-33. 2.5 minutes into the second half. Jackson hits a 3. And this crowd's so savvy. They know they're Lobos. Jackson's had a rough start through 11 games. He can score, but he hasn't been, so that's a good sign for New Mexico. And now a turnover, the Lobo faithful will go nuts.
Well, watch Caldwell here just kind of muscling it into the basket for a guy 6'1", 185, and then Vance Jackson, who's only shooting 22% from 3 all the time in the world, though, for him to get squared up, and that may get him going. He just has not found his rhythm yet at all this year.
As a sophomore, averaged 13. There he is. He averaged 13.7 rebounds. Those are his first 5 points of the night. The 3 and the drive there. He's averaging just 6 points and 4 rebounds this year.
He averaged 8 points as a freshman at University of Connecticut.
Maybe he's coming out of the funk here against their arch rivals. Lobos up 5. And the jump hook goes for Aure Coachea.
And the Aggies' first basket. They were stuck in 33 there the first almost 4 minutes. Aure Coachea, a right-handed post player, shooting that with his left hand. He's pretty skilled down there.
Once again, upstairs, Carlton Bragg.
And once again, Lyle to Bragg. That's the 4th combination of that pass to a basket that we've seen so far tonight.
Brown with it, goes down low to Yvonne. And he lost the basketball, and he nearly reached in. Jackson all alone in the corner, and instead they go middle to Bragg again. What a pass by Lyle. 7-point lead for the Lobos, their biggest of the night.
7-2 run to start the half, and watch this dynamic combination of Jaquan Lyle up in the air to his buddy Carlton Bragg, not once but twice to start the second half. Carlton Bragg just knows to put his head down and run down the court, and Lyle will find him.
I think Carlton Bragg, without question, is having more fun playing college basketball now than ever before. Danny went to Kansas out of high school, former McDonald's All-American out of Cleveland, Ohio.
And New Mexico State with 3 turnovers here in the first 4.5 minutes has not helped their cause any.
Hey, you coach in 1 million arenas in this country. How many places are louder than the pit?
None that I know of. It is deafening in here. You might as well be standing next to like a 747 taking off. When they're into it, you literally cannot communicate with your team.
What vision. Queen found a cutting Brown. That's a beautiful pass. Terrell, boy, his second bucket.
That was great. He put that through a crack in the door. That was a terrific pass. Of course, Queen leads them in scoring, rebounding, and assists. Such versatility for a kid 6'6".
Here's McCants on the low block. Boy, he's a bull in a china shop, isn't he?
Remember, he had back-to-back threes in the first half, and it looked like he knew what he was doing on that play.
I think New Mexico State right now, for Coach Jans, is playing like the team he thought he was going to have.
Well, there's no panic, that's for sure.
They're resilient, aren't they?
Yeah, they certainly are.
Malawatch misses. Queen pulls it down. Anytime either school coach gets a little bit of separation, all of a sudden the other school makes a run. Remember, New Mexico State late in the first half went up by 7. And then New Mexico made a run. 3-point affair. Back in a moment. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah as we are full-fledged in the holiday season. Drew Goodman, Joe Kravitz, Jenny Kavnar, and our terrific AT&T Sportsnet crew. 3-point game in the 224th rendition of the Rio Grande Rivalry. At all time, New Mexico leads 122 to 101. Right now they lead 42-39. They got the basketball as well.
Well, a very competitive affair here, and the Aggies aren't going away after surviving that 11-2 run by the Lobos. Here they are back in straight man-to-man at half court.
Boy, they were lucky there. That pass was low to Bragg from Jackson. Now Jackson on the wing. Gives it up. 3 ball is off right from Caldwell.
And you notice the Aggies will help off of Caldwell. He's not noted for his 3-point shooting, so that wasn't by chance there. I'm sure that was in the defensive game plan.
There's Jackson reading the pass and pulling it away. Pull up 3. And nobody boxed out Malawatch.
And that's where I think Malawatch could really help the Lobos. Such a long-range athlete, usually on the perimeter where you can track him down just like he did there. He should be getting 2, 3, maybe 4 of those a game.
You see a rebound like that, and invariably you're going to see a coach stomp his feet, and there's going to be changes. That'll count. 3-point opportunity for Ivan Koachea. Look at this move.
Very, very well versed in the low block. Big fellow who played at Indian Hills Community College, up and under. And again, he knows kind of where his house is. He doesn't venture too far off of that low block.
So he doesn't. Sean Williams and Johnny McCants come in for New Mexico State.
But he can't quite figure that out. Barely a 50% free throw shooter.
Yeah, 2 of 5 this evening by Koachea. And there's a steal from McCants.
Boy, both teams just loose as a goose with the ball here tonight.
Yeah, Rice a 3, and McCants lost it, but Queen has it. 3 ball, put it in the book. A 3 from Trevelyan Queen, his first of the ball game. He's got 10, averaging 15 a night.
I tell you what, great recognition by the Aggies leading scorer Quinn after that drive. After that drive, getting to an open area where the driver could find him, and to get to that 3-point shot. Great draw and kick recognition.
Yep, and that's a turnover. Queen palmed the basketball. Tied at 44 after the 3 ball.
Watch after the drive there. Queen moves from the top of the key all the way to that left-hand lane to create an uncontested passing lane, and that is great recognition on his part, Drew. It's one thing to be a really good shooter like Queen. It's another thing to understand how to get to that shot, and that was really, really a very subtle move by Queen to help him get to that 3-point shot.
Mexico, in this day and age where everybody shoots the 3, and coaches, when they look at the analytics, say, yeah, shoot the 3. Paul Weir looks at his team and he says, we're going to play inside out, and we're not going to shoot a ton of 3s this year.
You know, Drew, I'm an old school guy. You know that. I still think you got to play inside out. I don't think you can play east and west, just run up and down and shoot 3-pointers. I don't care that 3 is more than 2 and all that. That ball has to get to the paint, in my mind, for a team to be effective.
But if you can hit 3s, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? There's another one from Queen, 47-44. Now New Mexico State leading.
My question is, how did Queen get out there all by himself? No one on the Lobo team could have thrown a rock and hit him. They were so far away. There was some kind of breakdown defensively there.
Lyle. No good. Bragg, he was fouled.
Bragg now on his 3rd double-double in a row. That's his 10th rebound. Come on back to the pit, folks. Me and Drew are having more fun than getting dirty.
Lobos trailing by 3 here back at the pit, and Carlton Bragg has done it again, his 4th double-double of the season as he's getting ready to shoot free throws, but he's also done it in the classroom. And a big congratulations to Carlton Bragg, who's expected to graduate. Still has a few more credits, but he was able to walk in the recent graduation ceremonies, and his Instagram said, I've come from nothing, trying to turn into something. Bragg is the first one in his family to graduate from college, and it's so important for the kid from Cleveland, Ohio, to make that mark. It's also important for his coach, and Paul Weir, who really honors academics. We've talked about him having 3 masters and a doctorate in his career, also being a coach, but he said, I'm now a perfect 9 for 9, and he was almost most proud of that, Drew, when we talked to him today in talking about eligible seniors for graduation. He said that 100% rate means so much, and I got 4 more guys to go.
Yeah, and let's not forget, that is what college is all about. These kids just have to be uber talented playing a sport as well. So congratulations to Carlton Bragg. He gets both free throws. As Coach mentioned a moment ago, another double-double for him. Bobbitt misses with the left-handed sweeping hook. And it's 3 on 2 the other way. Out of bounds, it'll stay with New Mexico. I want to give this crew, I mentioned earlier, I really want to give them a lot of credit because they have control of this game, but they're letting them play. The players are going to decide it. A younger crew, we'd have 57 fouls.
Well, two officials came out at halftime and told me, boy, we got a lot going on, a lot to watch. So kind of things that we don't see, the fans don't see. In this heated rivalry, there is a lot going on. And as you said, Drew, these three officials have done a terrific job.
Yep, and in the frame right there is Tony Padilla, former middle infielder at Gonzaga. Did you know that?
No,
Great
I didn't
baseball
know
player,
that.
yeah.
Maybe next time I get here early, we'll play a little pepper before the game.
Well, you can do that. Yeah. You're a huge baseball fan. Here's Queen. Can get it right back. That foul, by the way, a moment ago on St. Martin. 5 on the shot clock. Queen runner. And Bragg got his mitts on it. But this is going to be a foul, and it's going to go against New Mexico State.
Queen elected to kind of shoot that little runner. I thought he had a clear path all the way to the basket. He could have got there and laid it up with his left hand. Manigault was guarding him and had done a pretty good job on the first possession, but then Queen got by him and, like I said, elected to shoot that little runner there.
Bobbitt got the foul. He goes out.
Excuse me, Drew. Queen is another guy who has excelled in the classroom. This year he was the first Aggie in history to be named to the NABC Hall of Honors course that honors guys who excel on the court and the classroom. The very first in the history of Aggie basketball.
Love hearing that. Open three, rolled in for McGee. He hit one in the first half. He's got 8 off the bench.
And that was a really nice pass out of the post. That's what's called a long X pass out of the post. Lobo's doing a nice job of sharing the basketball tonight.
Yep. Lobos by 2, and then the loose ball foul.
And what happens a lot,
3 on Ore Coachea.
Drew, that ball goes in the post, and the other 4 defenders just kind of get mesmerized and start looking into the post, and you kind of lose track of who you're guarding on the perimeter. But that was an outstanding long X pass to find McGee on the perimeter.
10:01 to go. Carlton Bragg's going to come out for a couple of moments. So probably sit in for 2, and then he'll get the under 8 timeout break also. Well, he's just a different player from a year ago. You'd see flashes a year ago, but now he's comfortable. He's so consistent.
Well, he's one of 2 guys in the Mountain West Conference averaging a double-double. I think he's playing up to first Paul League standards right now.
And the roll for Zane Martin.
Zane Martin, if anyone has ever had a scorer's mentality, it's Zane Martin. When he gets the ball, he's got one thing in mind, and that's getting it as deep as he can in the paint.
Well, Zane Martin, a transfer from Towson State, Maryland. He averaged more than 19 a game there. That skip pass gets picked off again. Vance Jackson's picked off a couple of those.
Well, the Aggies just killing themselves this half with turnovers.
Yeah, and Lyle's going to get free throws, a foul, I believe, on Terrell Brown.
Here's Zane Martin, as I said, and you mentioned, averaged almost 20 points at Towson State. But he's one of those guys if you don't guard multiple moves, you're going to lose him because he can move one way, the next way. I used to call them wigglers. You got to guard this guy because he'll wiggle by you, and he has, again, a scorer's mentality.
First point in the second half for Jaquan Lyle. 11 for the senior from Evansville.
Now, this is that lineup I talked about, Drew, when J.J. Caldwell, who is a pure point guard, leads the league in assists and steals, goes out of the game. And they play point guard kind of by committee with Keith McGee and Zane Martin in there, and they kind of share the ball handling responsibilities. That gives them great size along that guard line as well.
6-point lead for the Lobos. After New Mexico State had taken a lead, there's been 7 lead changes tonight. On the floor, a foul on Lyle.
I believe I'd try to get him a few more catches. He really, the big Spaniard, Ore Coachea, really is very well versed in the low block.
6'8", 235 pounds. And that guy's had a good ball game, and he got a second opportunity. Johnny McCants in double figures now with 10.
Again, no panic in the Aggies. They just kind of hang in there and hang in there. You know, and Drew, there's an age-old formula for winning on the road. Just keep it close, make a play at the end, and try to steal one.
Yeah, he's a tough cover, Lyle. He's
really
so physically big and strong for a guy who handles the basketball as well as he does.
He's got a great hesitation. Remember, the first half he made that exact same move and finished with his left hand at the rim. That time he finished with his strong hand, his right hand, and you're right, he's a tough cover.
Jackson has the rebound off the miss by Brown. Offensive foul. Drawn by McCants.
Well, we've seen that about 3 times tonight. A big guy trying to bring it to length of the court and make a play, and that is just a formula for disaster. And I'm all for Vance Jackson trying to be a little more aggressive. I don't think that was the place to try to be aggressive.
55-49, 8 minutes even to go, second half. New Mexico on their home floor. They won earlier in Las Cruces 3 weeks ago by 1, snapping a 5-game losing streak to the Aggies. They won 30 games last year, 28 the year before. Four to shoot it. And another offensive foul. So New Mexico gets the steal, and they get a little out of control again. That foul is going to be on Zane Martin. Back in a moment, we promise. 55-49, New Mexico leading by 6. Reminder, coming up next on AT&T Sportsnet, it is it's rivalry night right here in New Mexico State. How about this rivalry? DU and CC in hockey. It's the first major matchup of the year. That's next on AT&T Sportsnet. Last night in the first game of the series, the Pioneers won 3-0 over CC.
Drew Carlton Bragg having another terrific night, 13-13, coming off a 15-15 game. He also has 4 steals. He's actually second on this Lobo team in steals for the year. So talk about a picture of activity. That's Carlton Bragg.
Queen on a little give and go. Traveled. Bragg right now on the bench, but the Lobos lead by 6 even without his services. 19 turnovers for New Mexico State. That, I need not tell you, is far too many for Chris Jans.
They're 10th this half with 7 minutes to play. And just like that one, a couple of them are really kind of what you call unforced turnovers.
Lyle misses. Nearly got ripped from behind. There's Manigault. Rice. Rebound pulled away by Zane Martin.
Rice was back-to-back threes in the first half. The second leading scorer for this Aggie team is 8 tonight.
Which way?
And to strengthen the point I said about Zane Martin, when he gets the ball in his hands, and I'm not saying he's selfish one bit, but he is trying to make the round thing go into brown thing when he gets it. Well, I tell you, he's got one thing on his mind.
Well, that's the object of the game, and you know what? Know your strengths, and his strength's always been to be able to score.
Like you said, the average just a little bit under 20 at Towson State. It's been a nice part of this 8-man rotation, 3 off the bench, and I'm telling you, Paul Witter's done a nice job of that. You've heard me say this before. You don't wake up one day with a deep bench. It takes a lot of planning and work for a coach to develop a bench, and Paul Weir has done just that.
Pretty drive late on the shot clock by Jabari Rice. His first hoop in the second half. He's at double figures with 10. It's a 4-point game.
Jabari Rice is one of the few underclassmen on this New Mexico State team, only a sophomore.
He's a transfer also. He was in Huntington, West Virginia at Marshall University.
Watch Jabari Rice here. Nice little shot fake. Nice little finish around the basket.
He picked up the foul at the other end of the floor. Bragg comes back in for New Mexico. Inside 5.5 left. Lobos by 4. Jackson misses. Queen, strong crossover. Finds an open man. Brown, splash. And just like that, it's a 1-point game. Terrell Brown, who didn't practice all week with the groin injury.
And what a nice pass by Queen. And you said, what a great crossover dribble, then threw it back across the grain. You have to have really good court vision to see that guy in that deep corner like that. Really a multi-talented offensive player is Queen.
Dangerous pass, and that's stolen. And now New Mexico State can take the lead back. Bob it. And goes out of bounds. I think it's going to stay with New Mexico State. Manigault's going to come back in for New Mexico.
Watch the way Queen sets this up. Great crossover, and then again back across the grain. I love that he came to a 2-foot jump stop, got on balance, and that ball was right on the money.
Queen, quick 3. And there's a rebound for Lyle. Fouled in transition was Martin. I want to go back, that crossover and finding the open man. We was talking about a quarterback looking off the free safety. He knew where he was going, but he made sure all the actions was going to take the defense to the right side of the floor.
And he did set that shot up. And this guy just comes at you like 5 miles of bad highway. I mean, he just comes and comes and comes when he has the ball in his hand.
Didn't do any road work back in Southern Indiana when you were growing up?
Actually, I did work for the Indiana State Highway Department for 8 summers.
That was the bad highway. The stuff you were working on.
And I had a lot to do with that.
Rice goes quick. Bragg owns the glass.
He does. He is just the tallest hog at the trough, and that ball goes up today.
It's going to be a kick. 14 rebounds for Carlton Bragg.
And Drew, you said that he has just, look at his body. I mean, he is just in great basketball shape. I can't even imagine what he looked like 45 pounds ago. Great stamina. Remember all the times this game he's run the court to easy basket, and he went up in a crowd with 2 hands and just snatched that rebound.
Nearly a steal. Caldwell gives it up. Manigault from the elbow. And there's Caldwell. Littlest guy on the floor coming away with a rebound.
Well, J.J. Caldwell's coming off a 10-rebound game at Wyoming, where he knocked on the door of a triple-double. 8 points, 10 rebounds, 9 assists.
And Manigault, 3 opportunities now for the Lobos, are up 2. Clock winds inside 3.5 to play.
The Lobos kind of turning the tables on the Aggies with back-to-back offensive rebounds.
And we'll get to a timeout here. 3:19 to play. Stretch run. Bitter rivals, New Mexico State. We're in Albuquerque, almost 15,000 inside the pit tonight, with a 224th get-together between New Mexico and New Mexico State. 2 points separate the two. 56-54 Lobos. And the Lobos have the basketball. Caldwell on a drive, and he's in with the trees. And a foul. That was Manigault who came away with that basketball. Thing went up to the roof here at the pit, it seemed like.
I tell you, Corey Manigault at 6'9", 225 is a pretty valuable tool coming off the bench, so to speak, averaging 10 points, 4.5 rebounds. He's the third leading scorer on the team, but boy, having a big guy like that can go get it off the glass, hit free throws. I talked ad nauseum about New Mexico's bench, and I think that is a big difference this year than the New Mexico team last year, Drew. They have really gotten a rotation of 8 down and a strong 3 coming off that bench.
Manigault's got 5, goes 1 out of 2. He had 18 their last outing in Laramie. A win over Wyoming, and that's on Martin. Foul count now. That is the 6th team foul on the Lobos. Just 2 team fouls on New Mexico State. 1-1 comes with the next foul on New Mexico. For the tie, too strong.
Manigault with another rebound.
New Mexico picked 3rd in the Mountain West Conference. San Diego State nationally ranked. Utah State was nationally ranked. They just dropped out. New Mexico not far off. They're receiving votes. There's the tip in. Bragg again.
I talked about how active Carlton Bragg was, Drew, making plays way out of his area, running the court, and there's just another example. He's the one that set that ball screen some 30 feet from the basket, and then he ends up getting there to tip it in.
McCants air ball. Inside 2 minutes to play. Lobos by 5 with the rock. 15 points, 15 rebounds for Bragg, matching what he did in his last ball game against Wyoming when he went 15 and 15.
Big stop here. Now, if they set that, but now I'd go under that instead of trying to go. I think that's a bad decision on defending that ball screen that far out on the court, Drew. You can go under that ball screen and not have any problem. I don't know why they insist on going over it. It's not like the guard, Lyle's going to stop and shoot it from 40 feet. I think that's, and I see that quite often, and of course I got all the answers as an announcer, but it'd be so easy if he just went under that.
Let me correct something. I couldn't see that. The scoreboard's blocked part of it from where we are. That is the 17th foul also on New Mexico State. So 1-1 for Jaquan Lyle. He knocks the first one down. 15 for Lyle. 6-point lead, 1:32 left. And now a 7-point New Mexico lead.
The Aggies going to have to get it down and get something up pretty quick now. The Lobos looking for their first sweep of this series since 2015. Great hustle by Caldwell.
Great hustle, great defense by New Mexico. Now they really control it. With 1:06 to play, it takes some air out of the basketball. 7-point lead. And a bumping foul that'll send Caldwell to the line. He's a 71% free throw shooter.
And the Lobos playing the small lineup now and have been for a while with Caldwell, Lyle, and Zane Martin in there with 2 bigs, where they've usually been going with that bigger front line. Now they've gone with 2 bigs and 3 guards.
Hit your free throws late, right?
That is a formula for success.
This is now the biggest lead all night. 9 points for New Mexico with 1:01 left.
New Mexico trying to not only win the series for the first time since 2015, but ride this 5-game winning streak.
After the hoop, quick timeout, New Mexico State. Aure Coechea. He's got 10 in the game. but it's still a 7-point lead as we check in with Jenny.
You know, Paul Weir loves the resiliency of his team, and he really found that in their non-conference schedule. They went to UTEP and lost a game, only to bounce back and win a game by 1 point against their rivals in Las Cruces. Then all of a sudden they find themselves on a bad end of a loss against ranked Auburn with a lot of turnovers. Only 24 hours later find themselves with a win over Wisconsin. He said, I like the way this group responds. They use their experiences and they come back. They're led by these senior leaders. We're seeing that. We're seeing the energy and the confidence of Jaquan Lyle, but how about the confidence of a guy like Carlton Bragg, who only played half of a season last year, Drew, and all of a sudden has now become the heart and soul of this team on the court.
Yeah, they've had good minutes from senior Corey Manigault also. I thought they would foul here. And now the foul comes.
Drew,
what's your thought on that in the situation New Mexico State had? Down 7, ball was inbound with a little more than 50 seconds left.
Well, I think you foul immediately, and maybe they thought they had a chance to get a steal because they had a pretty good double team there on that first pass. Actually, they had 2 very good double teams, and maybe they thought, you know, we had a better chance for the steal. But yeah, you'd want to foul immediately and play the foul game there. I was going to comment on Bragg having outstanding stats, but I liked his play there versus New Mexico State's pressure. Caught it, got himself under control, made a safe pass back to the guard.
Queen for 3, got it. And now it's a 5-point game. Not impossible with 32.5 seconds left.
Well, it's a free throw game now, and now New Mexico State has to immediately, and this is Queen's shot. He loves that step back to his left. But they can't let much time run off the clock now, Drew. The Aggies I'm speaking of, they've got to foul immediately and, again, prolong the game. Now, the Lobos, on the other hand, are going to continue to play with this small lineup and get their best free throw guys on the court. All they got to do is make free throws and they win the game.
64-59 New Mexico. They haven't won here in their own gymnasium against New Mexico State since 2016.
Oh, and this is such a great rivalry. This has been such a great college game today here, Drew, and it's not over yet. It's unless you're just an absolute basketball snob and you don't think this is a good game, then
you know what's interesting about this game? It's been a great game. It's been fun to watch. Yet, if you look at the stat line, you say, wow, both teams turn it over in the high teens. How good a game could it have been? Sometimes when there's, you've been a ton of these, when there's great intensity, great hustle, great defense, there are more turnovers.
No question. And as you say, sometimes it isn't pretty, but you're just hit right in the face with the competitiveness of it. When that ball's out on the floor, guys diving for it. When the ball goes up on the glass, multiple guys rebounding. And it's easy to get caught up, again, in that competitive spirit that is so prevalent in this rivalry.
And the thing is, if you missed the beginning, it's not like they eased their way into it. It was dive on the floor from the opening tap.
It was like a heavyweight fight. I mean, from the get-go, boy, they were slugging it out. And the Lobos find themselves at the free throw line, which they have been there a lot. Drew, they're second in the nation in free throws attempted and third in free throws made. So again, they find themselves at the free throw line quite a bit so far this season.
Caldwell, 4 out of 5 tonight. He's 71% on the season. The transfer from Texas A&M.
Now, if you're New Mexico, one thing you don't want to do is foul a shooter either. Try to keep the ball in front of you. Do not foul a jump shooter.
That's a bad pass by Rice. We get a block at the other end. 22 seconds left. 7-point game.
Probably a poor decision by J.J. Caldwell. He should, if he brings it out, they're going to foul him. He's going to get back to the free throw line. And if you're wide open, no one around you, yeah, take that layup. But that was not a wide open layup. and I'm sure Coach Weir will visit with him about that.
So McCants got fouled, and he'll have a 1-and-1. New Mexico is in the double bonus. And McCants now 6 for 21. Bragg pulls down the rebound. That should do it for New Mexico. And it's fitting that Bragg would pull down that miss. He has 15 points, 16. Check it, that's 17 rebounds for Carlton Bragg.
And his third double-double in the last 4 games. How about last year over at Wyoming? We had a 22-point, 20 rebound game. Not far off that 20 rebound mark now.
We've seen a few of those. Over the last couple of years with Nico Carbacho at Colorado State.
And how about Justin Bean now at Utah State? He is about the most interesting and dynamic rebounder for his size I've seen in a long time.
Out of the corner, Queen knocks down a 3. It's going to be too little too late. 19 for Queen. And there's a foul on Rice getting Lyle, so Jaquan will go to the line. Paul Weir coached at New Mexico State. Jenny told you the story for a year. And then when Craig Neal was let go, he was hired, which is, you know, that's strange when you hire from your arch rival. But New Mexico State, such a storied tradition in basketball, and the same with the Lobos here. In fact, I saw Coach Alford and Coach Neal the other day. We had Nevada on our air several more times.
It won't take them long to get things going at Nevada. They kind of inherited an empty cupboard, so to speak, there, with only one returner that had played any at all last year.
They had a big win about 2 weeks ago against Santa Clara. A team that hadn't lost. They blew them out. Played well against the Air Force. Got beat their last time out. And a steal, and here's the exclamation point. It won't count, but it might as well have for the nearly 15,000 as the Lobos prevail 69-62 over New Mexico State, and they have swept the Rio Grande Rivalry for the first time in several years. And they improved to 10-2 on the season. New Mexico State drops to 6-6. Boy, that was fun. That was intense.
That was really, really a good college basketball game. Both teams played very hard. Like I say, it's hard even where we're at, Drew, as announcers, not to get caught up in the competitiveness of this terrific rivalry. They've been playing each other forever, and you can tell it matters to everyone in this stadium.
Yeah, great mutual respect. Carlton Bragg leading the way, 17 points, 17 rebounds.
Lobo players out with brooms now. Jenny, what do you know about that?
Well, Coach, we know it's an exciting atmosphere. Your first time playing in this rivalry this year, and you get them in both games. Describe the feeling of knowing you guys have swept the New Mexico State Aggies.
Well, I gotta just give thanks to God, just letting me be here today, man. It's been a long day. It's been crazy, but overall, it's just been amazing. Going against this team, being able to show what I can do, it's just a blessing.
It's fun to watch, and hey, congratulations on graduating as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll send it back to you.